Hey there everybody, welcome back to this map class. Today is not as much as a tutorial as just I wanted to update you on the progress. I haven't really ran across anything that I haven't explained already, and I just wanted to show you basically what I'm coming up with. So I did a little bit more painting over here, and I have the rough, the rough design where this is what I want it to look like with the trees. I want it to kind of be like like a deserted mountain path going up here to your farm. And in order to better shape the terrain, I kind of did a lot of rough hills and I just kind of put things all over on the map, and then I kind of started shaping it based on what I want to do. So based on this, I kind of think that I want to have a little section over here where there's some field, maybe the farm down there a little bit lower. I'm not sure yet, but over here, I want to make this more of a deserted mountain area where you can have some logging and, but it's a little bit too rocky for farming. And then over here, it's going to be a little bit flatter and some kind of a valley, and you'll have a few fields over here. Maybe the farm will be over there. But I also had the idea of, I wanted a train. I wanted a train going through the map, and I want the train to follow the road a lot. So with that in mind, I want you to be able to look at the train kind of as you're farming or as you're driving to and from the store. So with that in mind, I thought that I would basically have the train coming through there off the, from no man's land, from the map boundary, and then it would go, I don't know, maybe it'll cross over to that low side and it will go, or maybe we'll make this a little bit flatter. But anyway, the train's going to come up here and it's going to go underneath this bridge, and obviously this is going to look a lot better. This part is not done. And then we're gonna cause like a sweeping turn there and have the train kind of go down gently, gradually next to the water, and then all the way around over here. And so in my head, I'm kind of justifying this where it's like, originally there was nobody settled over here, but they had to have a train route coming along the river from, whatever fictional town is over there in the distance to whatever fictional town is over there. And knowing that, I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. And then I kind of had to just make the rest of the train match physically. And it is feasible, it's not realistic that they would carve a path through the rock and mountains for just, one farm, one farmer's farm. However, they would do it if it was a major train route. So we'll say that this was a major train route and it was easier until they did this. And right now, this is the state of the map. I laid out some roads, and this took a lot of time if you've never done it before. But I'm going to have a tunnel coming in from that direction, and a tunnel coming in from that direction. And then I'm going to put a gas station over there, I think. And this is going to be the exit ramp to get off to the middle of nowhere town. And remember how I said at the very beginning, I want this to feel like it's a deserted kind of area. So this is not a town. This is just going to be the exit to get to a town. And all along here, I think we might put a grain elevator, or no, that's right. We're not going to have a grain elevator. It's going to be the only dumping place on the map will be the railroad. We're going to make the railroad elevator a sell point. It's not going to be a functional railroad, although maybe that could be fun to drive the train from your farm all the way over here. Or maybe we'll have two tracks, one train that's running all the time and then one train that you can use to ferry things back and forth. I don't know, that's undecided yet. But anyway, the train is going to come along the road here, it's going to go here, and then it's going to gradually turn left along this road. And the idea is fictionally, I'm going to put, maybe we'll call it Goldcrest Valley. Somewhere along here there'll be signs to Goldcrest Valley that way. And, the train will go that way, and this road, the whole purpose of this interstate is to get people to Goldcrest Valley. There's not a town on this map. This is just deserted wilderness, and this is the quickest way to get to that town. But, in the past, they didn't have this interstate tunneled through the mountain, and the quickest way to get there was this old-fashioned road. But nobody uses this anymore because, well, it was originally only the train, and then you had a dirt road next to the train tracks. And, one little farmer back there who hates everybody, and he's kind of a recluse, and, he's a little bit crusty, and he doesn't want to be next to anybody because he likes being alone. That's why he lives way out here in the middle of nowhere. And Anyway, he's friendly though when you get to know him, but he's just a little bit suspicious of. Anyway, we'll stop characterizing our fictional farmer. We don't have another farmers bill, but I kind of wanted it a deserted feeling, and so I just kind of started painting over here a little bit more. I think that looks a little bit too flat. I'm gonna have to make that a different height, maybe we'll have a rock slide in there somewhere, but we'll fix that. That looks a little bit too even. Anyway, over here I just kind of did some rock ledges, and then wherever so in case you're wondering how I did this, if you like this, and there's many different ways to make hills and terrain and stuff like that, but what I did is I kind of just, well, like here for example, we can do it maybe here. So I just kind of did some lumps, and you can, if you want a little bit more, you can go down here. Remember I talked about adding noise. Let's add noise and set not the value, let's set the hardness to 1. And what I did, all I did is I kind of just randomly made lumps all over the map, and then wherever there was the big lump, well, that was kind of a rock. And so I would grab the rock texture, and there we go. And then I kind of just painted along where the rocky parts were to kind of give it a, it's like a rocky terrain, but it's not like full on rocks. And of course, like I said, we're going to fill this in with some objects, so it's not just going to be painted terrain. But that kind of helps give it some definition, where the pointy sides of it are a little bit humpier and the pointy sides, they have the rock on in them, and then you have grass intermixed. I pulled some inspiration from some pictures. I looked at a lot of pictures, and a lot of pictures had like grass and moss growing up the side of these steep valleys. Like this is what I want. And they had it, instead of this dirt, a lot of it was, it looked more like this. Well, not quite like that, more like that, yeah. So I had that mossy texture growing up the rocks. And that's kind of what I want to go for on this map. Not as much as the dirt, but a little bit of dirt here and there, because it's not all just rocks and grass. Anyway, I think that will, let's see, what else can we do for this episode? One thing you might want to know, in case you were curious, this was all done with the replace function. That's how I find it's easier to make these sharp angles when you use the replace function. So I showed you a little bit how to do that on tutorial 1 or 2. You can go back and check those out. But I just basically had a flat replace, and then I went through and I lowered it a little bit. But the replace function is the best at creating these really sharp cliffs, I think. You can do it with just the normal brush, but I think the replace function is a little bit easier. Anyway, that's how I did that. You know what? We can... this would be kind of carved out of rock, and so this is going to be basically all rock. We can kind of do that now to give ourselves a little bit of definition there. And that's there we go. We'll probably do a little bit of green in there. It's not going to be just solid rock, but I think it's easier to paint the kind of the background color first. And then, you know what? Let's paint the bottom too, and then we can... because we want to give the appearance that this was really rocky. And they had to carve a path through the mountain. Kind of like the Appalachian Trail. What's that gap called? I forget. Anyway, what's that pass? That's a famous pass. Like, I've driven through it in New England. Anyway, is that still considered New England? I think so. Is that the Green Mountains? The White Mountains? I don't know. Anyway, but let's get on... Yeah, see, this is just a little bit... You see how that's a little bit stretched? It's just a little bit too much stretch there. So we can minimize that by doing a smooth function and kind of make it a little bit not as exaggerated there. And I still kind of want the... Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. A little bit more... Yeah, there we go. It minimizes the stretching a little bit. And something else you can do to minimize that stretching is, of course, you can mix in, like what I was doing already. I mixed in some of that green stuff, so it makes it a little bit less stretched. And then, of course, we can put some real rocks in there as well. And that'll help out with give you some definition. Maybe some real rocks at the top there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that looks a little better already. We'll have to go back and work on that later. But for now, I think that we will leave that. One thing I wanted to do is I like the idea of, instead of the traditional fence, we're going to say that, based on the rocky terrain, I grabbed Robbie's little wall, and I'm going to put some of these. Let's see. Which one do we want? Let's look at these first. I don't think I want that one. I want the one with the white stone. Where's that? Yeah, over here. So let's look at we can grab texture 2 later if we want. But for right now, all I want is texture 1. And we're going to bring this up and over to our farm. Because, I kind of want... Okay, so maybe I should make it in 2 separate locations. I know people typically like different farms. So maybe we could have like a sheep farm over here. And then your pig and dairy will be back at the home farm. Or maybe this will be the dairy. I don't know. Originally, I was going to have this all as a field. Instead, maybe I should do the farm up here on the hill. And then the pasture kind of down on the hill. And then I guess I could still do a field down there. Start off with a small field. And, I mean, if I always wanted to, I could make a little bit... I can change those mountains. Those aren't set in stone. Like I said, I kind of just did all of this roughly to kind of give myself an idea of what I want. I don't think I'm going to do anything over there. You can see my circle brush marks there. I don't think I'm going to do anything over on that side of the map. Maybe I'll just make it a big forest. And, I'll make maybe that's what I'll do. I'll make all of that like a huge forest. And if you want, I will make an entrance to the forest, like, maybe somewhere up over here. And no. That's going to be all cliff rocks. Yeah, you got to come up and enter the forest right here. And then you can go through a forest path all the way over there. And then I'll set like an invisible boundary over here so you don't fall off the edge of the world. But, I mean, if you want to turn this into a huge forest map and logging stuff, then, we'll let you do that. And I think that's Okay, so anyway, I don't think that there's really too much to learn here, but I just kind of wanted to update you on the progress. It might not look like I did very much since the last episode, but this took forever. This is probably one of my least favorite parts of the map, of doing a map, laying out the road. It's just so hard to get the terrain up there right next to the road without going on top of the road. And oops, I am still... If you ever wonder why that happens, that is because you are adding. Yeah. It also does it when you subtract. So when you press the subtract button and it still looks like it's raising, either you have one of those boxes checked, or you have up here on the right mouse button, you have it selected to add. So be sure to look out for those. But anyway, yeah, this is kind of boring. But anyway, I think it's a pretty good layout. I wanted kind of like some nice bends and some rolling hills, and there's the rest of my lane kit. I think I can actually delete the rest of that now because that's all my lanes. I'm just going to have you got the main road here, and then as soon as it disappears over the bridge, it goes into a single lane, and they're not going to bother paving it all the way to this guy's house. So they'll pave it to the bridge, and then we'll say from the bridge it will be that other path. I don't know, maybe it'll be cement or asphalt all the way over to that bridge. Maybe we'll do that. That'll give you a little bit nicer of a drive. And yeah, I think we'll do that. That'll make it be a little bit nicer. Anyway, I like the idea of the... Oh my goodness, I'm kind of scatterbrained. The whole point of bringing this in was because I wanted to... Ooh, that's a cool thing. I wanted to kind of set the stage, like right here. I wanted to kind of set the stage of this is what this farm or this area is going to look like. This is kind of what the map's going to look like. This is what the old farmer up here, he had a lot of stone available to him, and that's kind of what he did. So I kind of just wanted to put that there to remind myself, because I also saw these pecs are so awesome. Where are they? I should have raised it a little bit. And we're going to do that just now. Let's see, where are they? Oh yeah, the broken ones. Yeah, I want a lot of these. I want a lot of the broken rundown look, because that's that's the idea that I'm trying to give on this map, where it's you're in the middle of nowhere. The farm is a little bit run down because you're in the middle of nowhere and there's just not quite enough money to go around. And so your goal is to, maybe with a little bit of forestry combined, you're going to have to work hard to grow this farm and make it profitable. And so you're probably not going to start out with very much equipment, if any. And, you know, it's kind of like you just showed up on the farm and get to work however you want to do. That's what you're gonna. It's gonna be a lot. You know, maybe like some of the hard working maps. Maybe we'll have a couple of fields where you have to. Well, didn't mean to do that. Where you have to, you know, carve out the fields with some trees. I think that'll be a fun thing to do. Anyway, let's just put that there to kind of remind ourselves that that's the feeling that we're going to try to generate in this map. Actually, let's put it on this side. There we go. That'll be fine. Yeah, that's just kind of a reminder. It's not a permanent placement. It's just a reminder that that's the feeling that I want to try to get. I find that you kind of, me for at least, I don't know. I've tried doing drawings in the past, and the drawings, I'm not the best at planning. This is what works for me. I like to just kind of stage the map. You know, I started like, well, you saw I started in the first episode. I started laying out the road, and then I kind of just shaped the world around it. And that's what I did over here. I knew that I kind of wanted a nice little valley. And, you know, this is not set in stone either. You know, this could be either lower or higher. I think this is going to be higher, because otherwise, why would the road slope around like that? So, right, this is going to be a little bit of a higher valley. I'm trying to replicate something that I saw in the Northeast, like when I was driving through the mountains to go snowboarding up in Vermont through New Hampshire to Vermont. And this is, you know, so this is going to be a little bit more of a valley, and we're going to have like maybe a little bit more of a valley on this side, full of those spruce trees. And it's kind of going to give the feeling of like a little deserted mountain town with not much in it. We'll probably have a big sawmill. I'll amp up the saw. What is that? Oh, gold nugget. We don't want those on our map. We do not want gold nuggets. Okay, gold nuggets are going bye-bye. It's a farming game. And you can leave your gold nuggets if you want, but mine are gone. Anyway, that concludes this episode. Sorry to say I didn't really teach you much, but I did just want to update you to know that I am still working on the map. I kind of want to let you know the progress, and I will probably have a tutorial next time, because next time what I'm going to do is, I already showed you guys how to import the objects, right? And what I'm going to do is I really want to set the stage more with that railroad. I love trains. I don't know if you've seen some of my other things. I love Transport Fever, although, you know, I've only done a couple episodes on it. So I like the train idea, where you get to see the train running through, and I want to set the stage with that. I want that set up first, and then we're going to kind of build around the train, because I want that to be the feature of the map, where, you know, if you drive, this is a huge run-on sentence, you know, you drive down here, well, you know, so you'll be able to see the train when you're over here farming, right? Because it's going to be coming right along that hill. And when you're over there farming, you'll be able to see the train coming along the river. And then as you drive down over here, you're going to be able to see the train, well, at least the train tracks, depending on where the train's at on the map. But you'll be able to see the train snaking around all over there. And you'll either be able to see it across the lake, or you'll be driving next to it, or, you know. And then over on this side of the map, well, it's going to take up a good part of this map too, because it's going to curve around over there and go away. That's kind of what I wanted to do. Oh yeah, this was going to be more of a, this was going to be more of a mountain, because I wanted to put this angle in going this way. And the only feasible reason why it wouldn't go to the left is if this is like an impassable mountain. So they already had the train tracks carved out there, so they just kind of put an intersection of the road there to go around that way. Anyway, I think that should just about conclude this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and again, I'm sorry I didn't teach you much, but I did just want to do a quick update. So next tutorial will either be, I'm not sure what I'll do first, and I'll get this tutorial out probably next week at some point, depending on my schedule, but it'll be either setting up a few fields, or setting up a sheep area, or setting up the train spline. So I'll probably have already laid out the train tracks, and it'll just be setting up the train and getting that working. You guys can, I think that I can go really any of those directions without causing problems in my creative process. So if you are waiting to learn how to do one of those, or you have questions on one of those, then let me know. If maybe I should do fields or moving the sheep first, because I think more people will probably be interested in that. Moving around your farm objects and getting the farm, getting all those triggers set up. I think that's what I should probably do next. So I'll probably set it up with buildings, and then I'll show you setting up with the triggers, kind of, so you don't have to watch me do it all, but you'll watch me how I did it, basically. I'll have most of the triggers set up, and then I'll walk you through one or two of them. I won't make you do every single thing. And then, of course, setting up the navigation mesh, and I think that is about it. So I'm liking the shape of this map. That is not done. Yeah, that's gonna be more alpine-y. Anyway, yeah, I will stop talking now and say goodbye. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed, even though this wasn't really a true tutorial, but rather just an update. Anyway, thanks guys. I hope this helped in some way. See you guys later for the next episode. Until then, bye-bye.